Hi, everyone. Hello, I'm Matteo Collina, and I will be opening up the Nearform event on Node Core, and then we have a workshop on broken promises later on, as well as some little thing tomorrow. Welcome, everybody. I'm very glad that that you are watching this. I was very I was enthusiastic to host this event and to open with a topic that is very dear to my heart. Anyway, before I just wanted to say like a couple of words, but let's get started and let's put on my screen. So this is going to be a very much live talk. So I'm going to draw, I'm going to code, I'm going to do everything live. So I don't know how this will go. Let's finger crossed the demo gods will be with me and we'll have everything up. So again, this is my iPad, so I can draw, so I can say hi here and I can write something. I can write something up and says hi. Okay, and you will see it. So it's actually a very nice way of delivering interesting things. Anyway, a couple of notes. I am Matteo Collina on Twitter. Please follow me. I also have a new newsletter comes out every week about my adventures in Nodeland. So Nodeland don't have. Very simple, and check it out. I'm also part of Nearform, so I'm technical director at Nearform, in case you were wondering on why I was here to begin with. So what this talk is about? This talk is about what's called modern Node.js. I just wanted to show a few of the latest things that we have shipped in Node.js combined together to handle some very specific pattern. Now, a lot of people might, I've said recently or before that Node.js has been stagnating and it's not been innovating, and so on and so forth. I don't agree, and I'm going to show you how to handle some specific pattern that felt a little bit old or not super nice to develop in the past, and how nice they are now. So let's get started. So again, you can see my my terminal. So I'm zooming him a lot because I think you will be needing, if you want to read this needs to be way bigger. Okay, so here we go. So let's start with a very simple example using EventEmitter. Now, EventEmitter is a nice utility that was introduced a long time ago, and it's part of most Node Core API. So how do we get it? We get it with this, with require. Now, with require, then we need to create one. Well, you will get an EventEmitter if you create an HTTP server, or for example, or an HTTP request, HTTP response, a stream. A lot of things are EventEmitter in Node. So again, we can do on something, and then we specify a function, and in the function we says arg. Okay, and then we can emit arg. Cool. Okay. How do we run this? Well, we can do node EE and yeah, of course. And I need to do 42. The demo gods are yeah, of course. No typos. Here we go. Okay, 42. Good. So we're getting something out. This is, very much old school. However, a good part of the problem is when we want to, for example, use this within an async function. Why we might want to use this inside an async function? Well, mainly because we need to interact with some other API that returns an EventEmitter, or it's something totally asynchronous that was not adapted to the promise equivalent. So we want to do this. However, we want to return only if after one event. Okay, how do we do this? Well, this is so I can do. Then I can say, here we go. With this, it says then, because we need something out of it, it returns a promise, and then says console log run completed. Now, what we want is that we want to return only after one event. Now, what happens if we do this? Oh, what did I do? Oh, yeah, of course. So I need to actually do this. Okay. Oh, okay. However, this seems correct. However, let's look at it a little bit better. So Promisify is one of the best, one of your best friends. So never Promisify, never convert anything by hand. Just always use Promisify. And we can get, for example, a sleep. So we can do await sleep. For 1 second, 1 millisecond. And then you see this never gets printed. Oh, what? Why? Well, why does this happen? Well, the reason is that when we execute run, it enters the run function. It then sleeps. Then the run function return. Then the execution continues, and we go ahead and execute ee.emit. But there is nobody listening to that. Okay, so it's so it's not really working as we want to achieve, right? So what are other alternatives? Well, we have a few alternatives here. So it's we can use once, for example. What we can do is we can say once ee something, and then says const arg, some nice destructoring, and now it works as expected again. Note that if I do so even move this here, and this will keep working even if I change the order of things up, and will keep always be working as we expect it to work. Okay, so this is interesting. What do we do if we want to receive 5 events? Well, once can be, I can just do, for example, I -5, and then do this. Okay, you can always do this. And however, you see this does not complete because, well, we don't emit 5. So here we go. Now, unfortunately, this is not working as we expect. Why? Well, because we are using once. So those 5 events are emitted synchronously, and we are only capturing one at a time. So this is not really working as we like. So we can use another utility, which is called on. And on is it's something slightly different. So what we can do is const, it's for await, let const event if on of on ee and something. Okay, and then we do ee dot. Here we go. Let's see if this works. What did I use? A little bit of here. And okay, now it's working as expected. Cool. Cool, right? I like this way of combining code. Well, I can even simplify. I can even simplify this code a little bit. How? Well, I can start saving it as ee.mjs and then ee.mjs. Okay. So and now I'm writing an MJS file. What an MJS file is? Michael Jackson. This is Michael Jackson script or ESM. So it's we can use instead of this, we can use the import of events of our same things, and we need to convert it to ESM, right? So it's import. Still okay. So now we don't need this run anymore. What we do, we can just say do something like this, okay, and just print it up. What's the benefit of this? This type of code is way cleaner, especially for scripting purposes. You can actually compose your scripts way easier, and your entry point becomes way more straightforward by using this is called top level await. So if I do ee.mjs now, not off, it's from. Come on, Matteo. And here we go. And now it still works as expected. This is pretty nice because it's we can actually start listening for a series of events. Now, what's the problem here? The problem is that this never returns, right? So what we need to do is we should do I0 and says if I is plus I equals 5, break. So only after 5 we break from our. And now it says run completed. So the script completes. It's pretty nice. I really like this way of working, and it's one of the nicest way that we can develop things. Now, how does this make sense? Well, if we use, for example, a framework like Fastify, Fastify returns a lot of promises. So we can do, for example, server.mjs, and we can do import Fastify from Fastify. Here we go. And then we can do const app. And here we go. We just log because I like logging. And then I do, for example, app.get. And this tiny bit. And says hello world. Then I can do await app.listen 3000. Says console. Now, this is a very simple script, but as you can see, we can actually bootstrap our application using top-level await and combining things together. So if I do server.mjs, it says that we are started, so I can actually call this, and it will actually do what we want to do. Okay, so we can go back to our example. Now, here, there is a few important bits. By the way, if we do, for example, ee.emit error boom, these will actually crash. Okay, note that these actually throws. So if we can actually wrap it with a try catch. And says console error, something that happened. Come on. No. Here we go. That is not defined. No. Not that I like this. Okay, something bad happened, and then your runs completed. Cool. So you can see that developing in this type of ways is actually way better. If I wanted to do the same things on your main, on the main script, it will be actually pretty hard. It will be a little bit harder if I want to do this in it's pretty hard. Anyway, so we went back to our original point. So I have a few more things to say about this. Okay, so what happens if I am doing so EE on something, like somebody does this. And inside here, they do throw new error. What does this do? Okay, let's try. Oh, wow. It's a 100 promise rejection, a lot of 100 promise rejections. Oh, this does not look nice because if I'm using 15, it actually crash. Okay, so maybe not something that we want to do because of our try catch. It doesn't get into our try catch. So how does it change this? Now, what we can do, we can pass in a capture rejection true flag in EventEmitter. And if we run this now, it's it yes, sorry. So again, if what I'm doing is that it's I need to defer it because otherwise things are asynchronous. So anyway, if I do that, then what happens is that it's that try catch will be will happen within my loop. So it's it will be caught by my try catch, which is something that I like quite a lot in the way I structure my code. So yeah. So a couple of things that I just wanted to show you a little bit in a little bit better. So let's say that I have 5 more minutes before we wrap up. There are a few more. There's few more things that I need to show you. So okay, let's imagine a use case where you want to process a large amount of files and import them in a database or just count what it's in those files. So what you can do is you can use something like this. And I am going to do it is some story. Yes. Hey, we have our file. So I've just wrote this by hand, of course. So one of the things that you can do if you want to process a large number of files is to use streams. So you can do, for example, use create stream to read it, and then this module called split2 to parse it line by line, and then some utilities from the stream modules. So what you do is that you do pipeline, you do create stream, split, you do transform, and you do a transform, you want to ignore the comments, for example, and then we just count the other lines. This file, as you can see, it's a lot. There is a lot of complexities, specifically because of you need to know all those things about streams. Okay, like this, combining those things together is perceived as actually pretty hard by most people. I don't want I've been maintaining this and improving this for a while, and this is actually it's not simple for most developers. Now, how does this work? Well, I can do count.js, and this is a data set that's structured in that way. And oh, I need to add this module. Here we go. And here we go. Oh, cool. And you can see it's indexing it. There's a lot of data in the thing. It's actually big. If we want to time it, it's timing. You can time it, and we can devise what like 5 seconds. So how does this work? Well, it does by we read the file, we split it, we transform it, which just remove the ones with starting with a hash, and then call this push again. Then with a writable string, we just count them up, and then we call the callbacks. This is complex, okay? There are a few things that, and then we do a little bit of logic with the callback to actually iterate asynchronously, because we can't just do the for loop. We need to use a recursion. So you got this code that's, I don't know, I find it ugly to read. So, this is not simple. So how about we do something a little bit simpler? So here it is. This is the count.js. This is, let's open it up. The alternative that is going to use top level await and our other bits. So again, we're using modern JavaScript. We can do, we import the same thing as before. We get our files, we compute our results, and then we start iterating over the file. Now, if you look at in count one, we need to do this ugly thing with a callback, right? I agree, this is hard to understand. This is simple because we just iterate over our files. We get the actual path, we create a small pipeline because we need to concatenate the create read stream with the split, stream. Unfortunately, I need to pass this callback because, yeah, needed, to be honest. And then it's just it. This is just it. I just need to for await my the resulting stream, and that's it. I don't need to do much more. So there's not much more that I need to do. I can also use my await here. I can do whatever I want, to be honest, and it will just work. So I can, here we go, count. Okay, so I can even try this and see how did it go, and you can see it has very similar performance of the one of the stream one, but it's more terse, more concise, it's nicer to read, and not even nicer to read about. So the problem with this is that if you do those things, if you throw inside for await, things will actually work as expected. So, for example, if we wanted to store something in a database, we could do await store in a database, and it would work as expected. So, yeah, I think that's all. I think I covered all the bits that I wanted to cover. One thing that please remember, don't, like, these use pipeline. One thing that you should not do is, while somebody will tell you to do, but you will see a few things online that tell you to do. So, but don't do this. It's going to leak memory, and Cool. So I'm just going to comment this up, and we are is correct. Perfect, folks. Just before we are back, I just wanted to thank you all for being here, and yeah, that's right about it. So follow me at Matteo Collina on Twitter, and Nodeland.dev is my weekly newsletter. I don't know if there are any questions from the audience. I'm not sure, but if there are, I will be very happy to reply to them over Twitter. If you find them there. So perfect, folks, and thank you.